With Uber Reserve, you can book your Uber ride in advance, 90 days in advance. Perfect for all you forward thinkers and planning gurus. Reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. Uber Reserve. See Uber app for details.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Money decisions don't have to be either or. With Bank of America, they can be yes and. Like yes to sunny vacations and rainy day funds. Can our digital tools and guidance help you create the future you want? Yes. And help you keep enjoying today, too. Do more with a bank that asks, what would you like the power to do? Explore our tips and more at bankofamerica.com/yes and.
Bears lose a decidedly ugly game in Glendale, Arizona, 29-9 to the Cardinals. This is their second game that they dropped in a row, which happens to be their second consecutive conference loss of the season to bring their record to 4-4. Usually we start with a good start off our good, bad, and ugly review of the show, but I do that purposely. I want to challenge co-hosts, listeners to see the game through all lenses, right? But damn, if I can't even pull a good out of the game, I'm not going to force nobody else to sugarcoat no bullshit. I don't want to force nobody else to pour syrup on shit and call it pancakes.
I feel like I didn't have to stretch as far for a good this game as I did last game.
There's reasons for optimism. I found good in the game.
What is it?
Well, to get to
I think we're on the same wave path because the one good that I was going to stretch.
He's about to say something goofy. I already know. Mine is actually somewhat realistic.
I felt coming into the game, and especially at the outset, the coaching staff was very prepared to not be the coaching staff of 2025, and that is a good thing.
That was the good I had too.
I wanted Ben Johnson and I wanted Jim Harbaugh heading into this year with our new quarterback. So yeah, that was the good. The coaching staff revealed that they won't be here next year. I think that was very apparent as you dropped to 4-4. Not to say that all hope is lost for a 4-4 team, but you lost 2 conference games. You're not catching the Lions. They're 7-1 now.
Yep.
They're 7-1 and steamrolling people. You're not catching them. They might not lose 5 games all year. So unless you plan on playing perfect and sweeping the Lions, you're not catching them. So you're going to be you're going to be competing for the wild card, and you lost to 2 teams who could probably be in there. You've lost tiebreakers. So even though 4-4 it's nowhere near a team being out. It's just the losses that you had. You had losses to teams that might be competing in that wild card with you.
Well, I'm going to sprinkle a little touch of optimism on the day. Because I did think of a good. In the scheme of things, coming into the game, there were reports, of course, that Stevenson was going to be benched. He wasn't going to start. I think they had a report that he had pulled himself out of practice when, he heard that news. So it's like, all right, how bro about to act? My good was that I thought he handled it well. I mean, he was on the sidelines, cheering up his replacement, who I thought played decently in his spot, Smith. So from that perspective, I'm like, okay, maybe they did coach him up. Maybe he got his head together. he came in the game and didn't have any gas or anything like that. So I thought that was good. I thought maybe that meant that we might be on a good path. His replacement had, a forced fumble, I think, on Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I was like, all right. That
was actually our third string nickel because we lost. Well, Gordon was hurt. I think Blackwell got hurt and Jalen Jones got hurt too. That actually was Stevenson replacement. That was one of the many.
Oh, well, maybe did he recover it or something? He had something to do with that play.
You're right. I'm sorry. Reddy Stewart forced the fumble, but I think maybe Terrell Smith recovered it. You might be right.
Yeah. So that was my good. So we can have a little touch of optimism. But again, I thought that was easier to think of than last game was. Although this whole game felt like a disappointment.
Trash.
Like last game.
Trash.
Everybody felt like a disappointment.
I don't have a good. Q, if the only good that I would maybe have forced out there, maybe have regurgitated, would have been that it is now clear that we are going to move past Eberflus. There is no way that Eberflus can find his way back into this coaching this team next year. That would have been the only bright spot coming from that decidedly disgusting game. Before we head into the next part of the game, I wanted to ask you all 3 words to describe this game.
Terrible.
Lackluster.
Unenthused.
Discombobulated.
Disappointed.
I got 3.
I mean that and shout out to Pay because you just had your birthday was last week.
Last week.
Yeah, that's you should have been asking the Bears what they're gonna do for your birthday. You should have got on your big lotto. They didn't take care of you.
No, they didn't
at all.
I celebrated my birthday with them losing to the Commanders 2 days afterwards, and then getting trolled on YouTube. Still, since then, if I hear what
ugly,
them comments is getting on my nerves.
Post videos and go. I'm not even coming back to the comments. Y'all got it. I'm finna get up out of there. I'm not even finna look at them comments. Y'all are vicious in them comments. We're humans.
If I see one more person tell me HTTR, I'm gonna come find them.
I'm ready to fight. Sometimes y'all talking crazy in these comments.
My 3 words to describe this game: team mid AF. That's how I felt after that game was over. And I'm like, you know what? And I said this in the rant video last night. Maybe the trolls are right. Maybe the Bears only look coherent and decent against trash squads. So we're going to find out again next week. But for right now, let's talk about this game. Another three word phrase. Flus's cheeks. I have no more positive superlatives for Eberflus or Shane Waldron. It is the way you lose this game is a extrapolation of the prior game. It feels like one loss snowballed into 2 because you have to depend on the veterans. You have to depend on your coaching staff to make sure the way you lost last week does not, trickle down into more consecutive bad losses. And that's exactly what happened. Like we talked about last week, Q, Flus lost this team, and it's more apparent after watching that game. The whole game was bad, but this game was ugly. So we can just mash both of those together, bad and ugly. What pissed you all off the most from this 29-9 loss?
I mean, I'm really going to stop taking notes during the games because I can really just repeat the same thing every week. The offense continues to start slowly, but not only did we start slowly this game, we never picked it up at any point in time during the game.
They showed you tests. We'll not only start slow, but we'll continue.
We'll finish slow. They say, you know what?
Consistency.
You
want to complain about
anything in the first quarter?
Consistency.
No, we're gonna stretch it from the first quarter. Okay, halftime. You know what? We usually bounce back after halftime. Ha. No, we're not bouncing back at any point in time. We will have zero offensive anything. Like, save Swift. You know, I mean, I will give Swift a little bit of love too. He still tried his best to do something. He was the only one that looked like he cared in any way, shape, or form to me during that game. I mean, it's just everybody. Like, I don't know if it's solely on the coaching staff, but something is wrong with that team's chemistry. Like, something is off with the juju with everybody. This isn't the first team that we've had that struggled. They struggled last year, but you still felt the team was a team. You still felt they had each other's back. You didn't see that visible frustration after every missed play that we see now. So something is off with the chemistry of this team, and I can't lay it bare all at the coaching staff's feet unless Shane Waldron is just the worst and he's influencing everybody, because Eberflus was still there last year. I mean, it's something that's not right in the water. So, I mean, like we said, it's tons of bad. So I'll stop now and somebody else can pick it up and we can come back. But the offense was just atrocious. Keenan can't catch the ball. I don't know if it's the way Caleb throws it to him. I don't know what it is. He can't catch it. You know, we continue to have to settle for field goals. Poor Cairo, again, is the only one who's scoring in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's like, bro, what is the offense doing? Komet got 0. I believe he had 0 targets. Once again, it's like, is he even getting cardio? Like,
he's running.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Yeah, it was beyond. The offense, like I said, was beyond atrocious. And I ain't gonna get on my Caleb diatribe, but you know, once again, the overthrows, the going for the home run instead of taking the check down when we desperately needed to move the ball and just score. I mean, you know, a lot of the same. Again, I could cut and paste and repeat the same things that I say weekly, it seems like, because once we get in a rut, it seems like we stay in it. We cannot pull ourselves out of a rut. We cannot look at film and say, oh man, last week we did such and such. We had stupid penalties. We had this, although this game may have been the least penalized game that we had, but still, it's just, we cannot get out of the ruts that we're in.
It's almost like copy and paste. I mean, what am I going to do? Complain about the coaching staff again? Complain about the blocking? Complain about the run defense? I don't know where to start my bad and ugly. I mean, it's all ugly to me. There might not be a bad. It's just all ugly. Once again, terrible penalties. Javon Dexter on that field goal leverage and gave them the automatic first down. And, of course, they had to score a touchdown after that because you just can't hold them to another field goal. I believe it was it Borum? Darnell Wright usually does this, but the illegal formation, you know, the tackles have to all be on the line of scrimmage now. You know, in the past, they let the tackles kind of cheat back a little bit. But every week, I don't know if somebody forgets to remind the Bears that this isn't 2023 anymore, and you have to line your tackles up on the line of scrimmage. But we get that penalty every week. Illegal formations. It's like, I don't know what they're going over in practice or in film, but it's so frustrating to see the same mistakes being made over and over again. Mercedes Lewis plays maybe between 3 and 8 snaps a game, and he just has to have one of them. Are they gambling on FanDuel? Like, why? I just didn't understand, and it's mind blowing. You're 40 years old. You've been playing this game at the NFL level almost longer than guys like Caleb have been alive. Why are you still making mental mistakes, Mercedes Lewis? How are you false starting? You just went in formation. All you have to do is settle down. Why are you false starting?
Yeah, I'm with you, Q. This game, it'll been a bit of a mental gymnastics to play, trying to bring good, bad, ugly, right? Because the whole fucking game was ugly. It was uglier than when Ving Rhames put that wig on in that one movie. Those three ballyhooed wide receivers couldn't catch the ball. Keenan especially. He had 8 targets, caught 3 of them. Cole Kmet, I don't know why we paid him all this money if he's just gonna go out there and get his Stairmaster on. He's just running. He's not playing football.
Cole Kmet is an incredibly built specimen.
He better be. He's running marathons every Sunday instead of playing football.
No body fat.
The offensive line, and we talked about how the in the preview episode, we talked about how the matchup to watch will be the offensive line. Well, our defensive line versus the Cardinals' offensive line. The Cardinals whipped the defensive line's ass all week, all Sunday. We did get the counter 3 times, but we didn't pressure them. Those 3 was few and far in between. They had their way, especially on the ground. The Bears defense gave up 7 runs of 9 or more. 5 of them went for 15.
That's all. It seemed like it was more than that. It seemed like
every time they ran the ball, and boys were doing whatever they wanted to do.
Benson, Connor, DeMarcado. I mean,
all of them. Every last one of them. Every string.
Tell me to play the Cardinals running backs.
I said, is this James Conner from 10 years ago on the Steelers? Why can't we get this guy down? I mean,
we were so bad against the run that I correct me if I'm wrong, a tight end ran the ball and scored a touchdown. Right. They were just, who wants to run the ball today?
Tight end did score.
On a running play, anybody can run the ball. You get a rushing touchdown.
Kyler didn't even have to rush on us. I think he rushed for a first down like once. He's like, bro, I don't even have to run on these guys. Bad
he want to run on us. He was like, you know what? We're putting tight ends and letting kick returners run on y'all. I don't even want to do it. Kevin Hart stayed right in the pocket and checked down all day because he didn't have to do anything.
Hart.
He checked down, but he got his first downs, though.
He checked down, he got his first down. He played a good game.
The list of bullshit that happened Sunday is long. That DeAndre Swift safety, chop blocking in the end zone. Yeah, that was fun. The thing that brings me back to what you said, Q, and what you said, Tiff, is that we ended the game last week with terrible defensive play. We ended the first half this past game, terrible defensive play. We let DeMarcado run right through that B gap for a 53-yard touchdown run. And from that point on, I think the Bears just quit.
Good observation. I think they did quit.
There's the rest of the game. Second half, the Bears I don't want to say the Bears defense because I think it was more so the Cardinals were bored. They only scored 9 points in the second half to the Bears 0. But I don't know. And to bring it back to this is something that you do lay at the feet of the coaches because it's the coach's number one job to get you motivated. And this team is not motivated right now.
Yeah, yes, they looked even worse in the second half, but to me, they didn't look motivated in the first half either. I mean, like coming off the loss that they did, I would have thought they would have come out with something. Now, defensively, again, they continue to let people run crazy on them, drive them down, and then hold them to 3. Okay, we continue to do the same thing we do every time. Offensively, didn't we have a 3 and out on the first? I mean, there was at no point did I feel like, man, the Bears are pissed. Like they really about to, I never felt like that. Yes, that touchdown at halftime, that was the final deflation. But I never felt like, ooh, we came to fight, bro. We about to go down swing. I never felt like that. I feel like they came out like, all right. Stevenson may have been the maddest person. Like everybody else just kind of felt like, oh, we out here playing. And then after that, it was really like, yeah, every time we drive down the field, we can't even get close to scoring, or we got to do 3 points. So we know we're not coming back. So, oh, well, like I never felt like they were really, really in it and trying super hard on either side of the ball. Honestly, of course, the defense played a little bit better, but I never felt like anybody was just out there killing it. Never. Whole game looked like they were mailing it in to me.
To go back to what we said last episode, I think they've checked out and from this point on, ignoring the voices in the room. It's time for new voices in the room. And one of the issues on offense laid bare again for 2 weeks in a row was the offensive line. Caleb got sacked 6 times. He should have been sacked more than that.
He was on his back at least 15 times.
Exactly. And that's 2 weeks in a row. And I don't want to say that our offensive line had just decided to stop playing football because they're still collecting checks. But this goes back to Ryan Poles and everything we said in the offseason. Ryan Poles did not build an offensive line that could withstand injuries. It was bare bones to begin with, even with the starters. And now that we've gotten to week 9, well, going into week 10, some decisions have been made clear for us. We have to replace the entire line. And I said entire, all 5 of them. Darnell Wright, mid. Tevin Jenkins can't stay healthy. Nate Davis can't stay healthy and is mid. Shelton, not a starter. Mid is a compliment for these guys. Shelton's not a starter. Ryan Bates, not a starter. Borum, not a starter, and is mid. And Braxton Jones can't stay healthy, mid as well. This is not conducive to how you want to bring up a number 1 draft pick quarterback. This is not how you develop somebody, right? So the next question I'm going to lead into is how many people need to be removed from the leadership of this squad so we don't have to do the same thing again and again and again next season?
Well, I think the entire coaching staff needs to be replaced. They've tuned them out. When a team has adversity like the Bears had last week, it's very telling the next week how they come out, how they respond to that, that adversity, that controversy, the way that game ended. They didn't respond well at all. They came out lackluster to start. It wasn't a team that had a lot of intensity. So you got to look at the coaching staff and you got to remove them. Now we're heading into year 4, and I'm going to be clear. This is Ryan Poles. Everything about this team is Ryan Poles' fingerprint. So at the end of the day, there is never an excuse in the National Football League for you to be several consecutive seasons of no playoff berths. People have to be held accountable. So right now, you got to look at Eberflus and his staff, and you got to put the blame on them. He's been here 3 years. It's just not acceptable. It's a roster that has enough talent to win. It's not winning. It's 500. You're heading towards another 500 year, or not even 500. Probably we got the NFL's hardest schedule remaining, and then you have to go above his head. Like, I'm willing to give Poles a chance to pick his next head coach, but at the end of that, if there's still no improvement, it's on Poles now. This is your team. There's no naggy pace guys really left, except for the ones you extended that are really good. You picked Eberflus. I know some people disagree that he didn't pick Eberflus, and you've picked the rest of this team. So this is on Poles now. We're heading into year 4.
It's disappointing. It's crying over spilled milk at this point. But like I said, why did we not replace him going into this year? I just don't understand it, because here we go again. We put it all on the head coach. We get rid of him and all his staff, including the offensive coordinator. We're not going to do it within the year because that's not how the Bears operate. Also, he calls the defense. So who the hell going to call the defense if we fire him? Okay, cool. We have a disappointing ass season. Everybody's disenfranchised, upset, whatever. We say in the off season, we're going to bring in a great new coach. The situation don't look the best to the shining stars of the league. The candidates that everybody's going to be going off for the head coaching job, right? You've got this generational talent who thus far has not looked as generational as predicted. So it's not that draw of, ooh, let me come work with Caleb Williams. It's, you got a fan base that's restless. You got another, every few years they're getting rid of coaches and staffs. So it's not conducive to bringing in the creme de la creme. We've got players learning new systems again on both sides of the ball, right? Because we done got rid of, obviously, the defensive coach and the offensive coach, most likely. I can't see a new coach come in and keeping Shane Waldron. So we are going through the same cycle for the 50 millionth time. Let's take the whole team through a whole new scheme. Let's take everybody through everything new. And then next year when we start off slow, because everybody's trying to adjust to new shit, everybody's like, why is this not working? This head coach is on it's a never ending cycle. And I don't know at what point we get off. Like, at what point do we finally find who we deem is our guy, or do we realize maybe it's not all the staff and the head coach? Maybe there's other things that need to go along with it too. And how much leash are we willing to give these new people with, I guess, a whole new offensive line, according to us? Like, I don't know. It's just, and again, we've only got a sophomore QB. What damage is done to him this year? Because again, one of my things with him is, how does he's never had this level of adversity, and he's lost, but he was still the superstar. Like, he was still the one making it happen, even though his team was lost. How does he deal with that? We've got all these factors that just, like, we didn't think we'd be here coming into the season. We had high hopes. We had very high hopes that I don't think were unrealistic, but now it's like that reality check of what is the next move, and are we again looking at the 3-4 year plan if we change everything out? It's depressing.
I never thought I'd be envious of what Detroit has in terms of football. This is crazy.
It's new territory.
Detroit
is not the laughing stock anymore. It's not poor Detroit anymore. It's not, we'll cheer for the Lions because poor Detroit.
Man, they're starting to get obnoxious. Damn shame what they did to them Packers yesterday.
Nah, that was great. I was very happy. That was the one shining spot yesterday.
Damn,
they losing, getting their ass beat, and we can't even be really happy about it because we out here looking like trash.
And I was happy about it. It was the only thing that made me smile yesterday.
Yeah. That was beautiful. And we also embarrassed the NFC North. The NFC North has been a proud division. And here we are just bringing up the asshole of it and losing to teams. Everybody else in the NFC North is handling their business except for when they saw other NFC North teams. The Vikings did what you should do to the Colts and beat them, something we couldn't do.
And it's a shame because, we're all grim and, but we're 500. Like, Arizona was 500 yesterday and they were number one in their division.
It's a different feel of 500, though. They're a little bit more upbeat. They're playing above their heads. It seems like we've got a disappointing 500.
Oh, yes, we do. No, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying we're off with how we feel. I'm just saying, like, we sound like Jets fans the way, what I'm saying? Like, we 2-7 or whatever, 3-7, whatever they are now. Like, it's not dire. It just feels dire because this is the third game where we really, really shouldn't have lost this game. Like, and again, this is a repeated pattern where it's like the games we should not lose in any way, shape, or form, we are losing every single time. It's not a one-off here or there every time throughout Eberflus's whole entire tenure, which again goes back to why was he given another year with a new quarterback? That it just made zero sense whatsoever.
And I'm tired of his post-game press conferences.
The reason why these 500s feel different, one, obviously Arizona's now on a 3-game winning streak, but expectations. Tiff, you said we had expectations that weren't that weren't super high, but they were still expectations. And the fact that we're 500 at this point, it's it's depressing in a way because we expected more. If the Bears team last year was 4-4 going into week 10 last year, we'd have been celebrating. We didn't have expectations for that team. This puts in more blame at the feet of the coaches and Ryan Poles, because one, you said who's gonna call the plays, who's gonna call defense if we fire Eberflus. Well, Eberflus was calling them plays yesterday. Eberflus was calling them plays. I would give it to say, hey, Eric Washington, let's see how you do. I mean,
I don't want to jump off the bridge as far as that goes, because we can't stop the run for shit. But overall, we can't say that Flus is bad at calling the defense. Like that's taking the emotions a little too far. I'm not saying he's a good head coach. I'm not saying, but he has had those boys playing consistently. Now, do they drop the ball at the worst times? Yeah. How much of that is on the coach? How much of that is on the players? That's a discussion you can continue to have, because at the end of the day, yes, he's calling the plays, but those men are one out there, messing up, for lack of a better term, too. So how much goes on them? How much goes on him? I don't know. He's not a great head coach, but I'm not going to take it that far and act like he's just the worst defensive coach and that side needs somebody else calling it. I don't know about that. That may be a bridge too far. Like, this was the first time anyone has scored over 21 points on us in a long time. So I don't want to jump too far off the bridge.
That just means the defense goes. Maybe that means the dam is broken, right? Someone's finally cracked the code on us, and they cracked the code on us in the most embarrassing way. Ran it down our throats.
Running the ball on us been the code. I mean, that ain't,
And then they did it, as you said. Old man James Conner, he had his best game of the season against the Bears. You would expect, right? You would expect this to be the bounce back game after you lose a terrible game, in heartbreaking fashion. You got trash ass Arizona Cardinals coming in. Arizona Cardinals are the worst team across the board on defense, and they made the Bears offense look abysmal. They are a mid team running the ball. They're not a great rushing squad. I mean, yet they ran the ball down the Bears' throat. They ran up that B gap consistently. No fucking nobody's stopping it. They ran away. I forgot who was that. Was it DeMarcado that broke down TJ in the open field? Pissed me off.
Tremaine. He broke down Tremaine in the open field.
Both of them, because I remember it was a short side of the field. TJ had a stop in the backfield if he wanted, but he got destroyed. His ankles got blown up.
On the second level, that was Tremaine's turn in.
And then Billings got hurt.
Pace rewarded him with a contract extension to be that zero technique. He played good last year. They had a good run defense. The clock struck midnight on Cinderella. Billings he went back to being what he's been in the past, a rotational guy and a journeyman. And we rewarded him and made him that zero technique. And he just looks fat out there, fat and slow. He just looks fat and slow.
That was not what I was expecting.
He looks fat and slow, and he's getting overwhelmed. So, like, you can't be fat, slow, and getting pushed to the second level and getting overwhelmed to the point of attack. And he has. I've been wanting to say something about Billings for a while.
If we're going to turn it around, I don't think he's going to be the one that's going to help us be the zero technique that's going to help this team get back to where they're supposed to be, perch top the defensive rankings, right? But it's just all goes to show, because everything points back at the leadership of the squad, and I don't think they have good leadership. The team is garbage right now.
You know what? I'm going to jump on the bandwagon as well and say, what about the damn team standing up and being leaders? Like, okay, coaches, we can talk about that till forever, but these grown-ass men, why some of them can't stand up and check each other and get each other in line? No, they can't make the calls and all woo. But golly, some of this feels like a cop-out. Like, everything ain't on the coaches when you're a grown man and you can check your teammate or your team and say, bro, y'all don't look fired up out there. Nobody looks like, you know what I'm saying? Some of it's got to be on the players, too.
I got a question. So we've been Bears fans for a while. We've seen In past teams, good or bad. We've seen Olin Kreutz. He was the vocal leader for a long time. Big Cat Williams before that. We've had Mike Brown, Urlacher, Lance Briggs. They were the vocal leaders, and they kind of led by example. Peanut Tillman, led by example. Even when things weren't great, those were, who was the vocal leader in this locker room? Who are the leaders of this team?
Your best guess is as good as mine.
We've said before we don't think they have it, and I think that's part of the problem on both sides of the ball. I
seen with Nagy, you had Khalil Mack was quiet, but Akeem Hicks was kind of that fire. When Akeem Hicks was playing, the defense was physical and nasty, and he's the tone setter, the vocal leader. We had Roquan. We don't have it doesn't seem like there's a guy who's the face. It's a good defense, but there's not a guy who's like the face, the vocal leader. Hey, things aren't going. You're getting somebody's Tyreek. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I think the closest is maybe is Bird, and he's new here. This is his first year here. I think Kevin Bird's the closest thing we have to a vocal leader. Maybe Jalen Johnson, but I don't know
that Jalen is that vocal with the team. I don't know. I mean, we're not in the locker room, but it doesn't seem like they're as vocal, and certainly not as vocal as we've had in the past.
Yeah, even not being in the locker room, you saw it on the sideline in past teams. You knew Olin Kreutz was going to get them together. He'd be the guy inspiring people on the bench, and you'd see him, getting in people's face or picking guys up. They fed off him for a long time in that offense, and they had an identity with that. Same thing with Urlacher and Briggs. Those were the two guys that were constantly there. They set the tone. They were the leaders, on the field. The team kind of rallied around them. They kept the team steady. Tillman, I don't think we don't really have that.
I don't think we have it on either side of the ball. I think part of it, the offense is kind of by default. You got a rookie quarterback. He can try, but and you got a lot of new pieces. You can try, but you got a lot of new people. You can try, and it's not like you can see Jaden being that vocal leader because the team's kind of playing well. He's playing well.
Yeah,
so that's
going to be responded to him. And he's a little older than Caleb and playing.
Yeah, that's going to be responded to. But on our side, it's like we got new guys. Yeah, Keenan, he can be a veteran, but he's still a new guy. He's not playing as well. And I don't know, some of it may not be personality. You would think DJ, but maybe that's just not his personality. DJ seems very not happy.
He
seems very, and that goes back to what I'm saying about the locker room. I don't think this is solely on the coaches. Something in that locker room is a little bit askew right now because every time, like when he just laying on the ground, he be wanting not to go crazy every time he get overthrown and he laying on the ground. He be trying to control himself so he don't go crazy like he did.
He's like, am I hurt? Maybe I'm hurt because I don't want to deal with this no more. DJ Moore looks like a guy looking for workman's comp or PTO.
Facts.
He don't want to be on the sales floor anymore. He's tired.
That's right.
Co-workers. He's tired. he's tired of upper management. DJ Moore looked like he's gonna take an extended lunch break. Like every
time he finna go for a smoke break every time.
He's go for a smoke break. He's finna get up off the floor. He's finna go to his.
He does look like he about to crash out. I promise. Every time he's laying on that sideline, I'm like, he about to crash out. Then he'll jump up and he'll run back in the game. But I don't know. That's why I just say something is off with the team. Of course, it starts at the head, but something is just off now. And it's like as soon as it's off, when we was winning, it's cool. We not super tight in this locker room, but we winning. Everything okay. But when that adversity hit, that's when you get that's when those, it really comes to light. So it's going to have to start at the top with the coaching staff. Shit, it could start with Poles at this point too. Like I ain't wed to him like everybody else is. Let's give him another chance to pick another coaching staff and go through the same shit a million times. But a lot of it falls on the org too. Because if we get rid of him, is who we bring in going to be better? It's a lot of repetitive questions being a Bears fan, but it ain't all on the coaching staff is all I'm saying. Like that locker room gotta get together and have some team meetings as well and figure out what's going on with them.
Did you see the play where when the receiver steps out of bounds, he's ineligible to be the first player to touch the ball against. But did you see DJ Moore step out of bounds, just stayed out of bounds? That's the new controversy they're talking about now. It looked like he just gave up on the play. So I mean, they asked Eberflus about it, and he gave some politically correct answer about DJ stepped out of bounds. So the hat comes off the officials. You can't touch the ball. You can't be the first player to touch the ball if you step out of bounds. We've seen that on. We've seen that happen to players before catches get ruled incomplete because the receiver stepped. But the way he stepped out of bounds, just stayed out of bounds and just put his head down. I mean,
I'm gonna have to look it up now because I missed that. But I promise you, I've been watching his body language ever since. Was it Houston he had a little crash out? Yeah, he
looks like he wants to go to the solid. What's the 5 words black people say when they about to snap? I mean, YGMFU. Y'all know what that stands for. Y'all got me effed up. That looks like
the right one.
On the sideline.
You got the right one or you got the wrong one, whichever way you want to take it. It all mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't want to speculate what that is because, like I said, up to this point in his career, and he's had some not great situations his whole career. He's been real easygoing and real, hey, kumbaya. But even with those situations, he was still getting his and he was still playing well. So I think that may be part of it too. That the ball's not coming to him like that. He's not playing well because it's not coming to him. That may be definitely a point of contention.
And I think, now DJ's in year 6 or 7. You start thinking about your legacy. He's never been to the playoffs.
He just signed a big contract. I'm sure he feels a level of weight from that.
For the past, second, third year with a rebuilding Carolina, you're just happy to establish yourself as a, starter and number 1 receiver. So it's different than earlier in your career too. You're trying to be, but now, it's you want to leave a legacy on the game. I'm sure DJ, he hasn't been to the playoffs. I don't think he's played on a winning team. So, I mean, that will also, he wants to go to Pro Bowls. He wants to do those things. And right now, he's in this is year 2 with the Bears. So, I mean, heading into year 3 is right now, it's not a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't want to be, sky is falling. The Bears are 4-4. They can easily, if the Bears beat the Patriots next week, and then I think they got the Vikings after that, we'll be happy and cheerful here, standing at 6-4. So I don't want to say the sky is falling, but
we have the Packers after that.
You said what?
I'm pretty sure we have the Packers after that. I think next week is their bye week, and then we play them after their bye week.
Oh, it's Patriots then Packers? Okay.
Sure.
if we win those, if we win these next 2 in a row, we're gonna be singing a different tune. But it kind of feels like the season is on the brink right now. Like, you go out there and lay an egg against the Patriots next week at home. People are gonna be calling for heads. People are gonna start doing the thing where they cover their asses. You remember Getsy last year when, he
shout out to Luke Getsy getting fired mid-season.
Getsy to get himself fired, that is crazy. Only 9 games. That is wow. He got 2 years out of us. Even the Raiders didn't want to put up with Getsy. We gave Getsy 2 years. Even the lowly Raiders were done with him after they said, "Look, we don't need to see any more games. We've seen 9. We don't need to see any more." We gave Luke 2 years.
They move on from abuse a lot faster than we do.
Yeah, well, everybody does. We kind of like anybody out there, domestic violence is a serious situation. Seek help. Bears fans, we need to seek help.
It's funny because it's true. I was thinking about you when you said, man, we don't never get no calls, but we were not getting any, although we was playing terrible, but we weren't getting
I wouldn't have gave them
in that game. And I'm like, Eberflus don't have no pull. The run ref was over there keying with Arizona's head coach the whole game. I said, no wonder they getting these friendly flags. He had some rapport. Eberflus, they ain't never over there talking to him. They just barely walk over to ask what he wants the penalty. That's it. Like, he just has no pull, no sway. The Bears get zero calls. Even the calls that are very blatantly should be called, that they're calling out over and over on the broadcast, like, yeah, I don't know why they didn't throw the flag on that. They let them play on that. And it's like, yeah.
Keenan Allen was definitely interfered with. Moore was definitely interfered with at least once. But Matt Eberflus got to shave that beard. I don't know who allowed him in the beard game, but us bearded men do not behave that way. There's no aura with him. There's no aura. There's no personality.
He definitely got to let go of that beard.
He got to go back to.
He don't have a record for a beard like that. He got to cut that shit off.
He's not.
Yeah, go back. Him and Getsy came in with those bald, coochie bald faces. They got to go back to the Brazilian wax people and get the coochie bald faces. I don't appreciate him making us look bad.
Enough of the shenanigans. Enough of this team.
I'm gonna blame Pay because and the rest of the Scorpios. The Bears have not won one game during Scorpio season.
I mean, touche. We were doing quite well during Virgo season, but I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Don't. That's not true either. Because you was ranting and raving all through Virgo season.
No,
that's Scorpio.
Yes, you were.
The Houston game. That's
ranting and raving about the Bears.
The Houston game. That was literally it.
The Colts game after that. The Colts game the week after that.
I don't think that was Virgo season anymore.
No.
I think that was Libra season.
Yes, it was.
No, I don't think so.
Cap.
That was Libra season.
But if you're gonna blame,
I know when my birthday is. It's the 15th.
I do too. If you want to blame a Scorpio, blame Diddy. It's Diddy's fault.
Diddy's a I should have known that.
Y'all a Scorpio. And you know what? Blame Diddy, and blame Drake. They had terrible 2024s and it's bucking up my Bears.
Two horny ass Scorpios. Y'all Scorpios got to calm down, man. Y'all just deviants. Deviants, and y'all all gonna end up locked up.
Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.